Oppo sub-brand Realme has announced its next smartphone, the Realme 2, and it's built on very similar design strategy, but there are a lot of things different on the new phone. You're watching India Today Tech, I'm Rahul Sethi, and let's take a look at the Realme 2 and find out if it's really an upgrade. So this is the box the Realme 2 arrived at our office in. It may not be the final retail box, though it looks quite pretty. There is no information, neither the price nor any other information on the box, so we can't really say what the price of the phone will be. And I'll leave the information in the comment section below and the description box as well. So this box comes with a cover. It's a clear case, it's not a solid one, and you can snap it onto the phone. Not an easy cover to put by any means, but I'm trying my best. That fits the phone perfectly, and you'll see it has a covering for the USB port as well. Next in the box is a power adapter. Looks quite thick and bulky, but it's just a normal charger with 10 watt of output rating. It's not really a fast charger, and the phone also doesn't support fast charging. And the next thing is a micro USB cable, which is good in length and quality. Alright, now before we take a look at the phone, let's take a look at the specs of the Oppo Realme 2. The Realme 2 comes with a 6.2-inch display with an HD resolution and 19:9 aspect ratio. Under the hood, it runs Snapdragon 450 with either 3 or 4 GB of RAM options or 32 and 64 of storage options. The storage is expandable via microSD card. At the back, the phone has a dual camera setup with 13 megapixel primary and a 2 megapixel secondary sensor, which is for depth sensing. The primary camera has an f2.2 aperture, and at the front there is an 8 megapixel shooter. The phone runs on Android 8.1 Oreo with ColorOS 5.1 on top. The phone packs a bigger 40-30 mAh battery compared to Realme 1, but there's still no fast charging support. Features include face and fingerprint scan and lock, Bluetooth 4.2 and GPS. You'll see the major change is that it has a notch display now, which Oppo says is an upgrade from the Realme 1, but the display resolution, as you saw in the specs, is toned down to 720p from 1080p. The bottom bezel is almost as thick as the previous one, and as for the back, you'll see there is a fingerprint scanner now, which wasn't there on the Realme 1, and there's a dual camera setup with single LED flash, and it also has the diamond pattern that one of the Realme variants had. As far as the ergonomics, the size and the weight of the phone goes, it's very similar to that of the Realme 1. I don't see it getting any thicker because of a bigger battery, which is quite nice. And as with the Realme 1 as well, the sides are curved, the corners are curved, and it gives a good in-hand grip despite having a glass back. Now at the bottom, you'll see there is a single speaker grill, a micro USB port, a mic, and a 3.5mm headphone jack. And as for the SIM tray, you get 3 slots on it, one for micro SD and 2 for adding SIM cards, which is same as the Realme 1 and quite nice. But let's really talk about the Realme 2. Is it really an upgrade over the Realme 1? I think the design is pretty similar, and in that terms it's more or less the same, though you do get a notch display, but apart from that there's no major upgrade in the design part of it. If you talk about the display, it's surely a downgrade since it has a lower resolution, so you'll see that the pixel density is also lesser, though I think it's better in terms of brightness. Realme 1 had very bad outdoor brightness visibility, and I think this will slightly improve with the Realme 2. The color production of the phone is not bad. I see blues and yellows being reproduced quite nicely. But one thing I can clearly see is that the sharpness levels of the display have gone down. It's not that vivid and great display that the Realme 1 used to have. The audio quality from this is also not anything amazing. It's neither loud nor very clear. You can zoom the screen to fill the notch area, and that is something many of you have been asking me in the comments section also. This is going to pose a problem when you're viewing the display in landscape mode. For example, if I pull up this menu, you'll see many of the things get overtaken by the notch, and if you'll see in other softwares as well, you'll see the notch encroaches upon the text area, but ideally there should be a black bar here, which is a design most notch screens follow. Also talking about the software now, the Realme 2 runs ColorOS 5.1. It's still made on the Android 8.1, same as the Realme 1, but there are slight changes in the interface, nothing major. You'll see there is a green and white dual tone thing to the drop down menu, which looks pretty, and in the recent apps menu you will see there is text written on the app and not just the app icon, which is very similar to what we saw on the iPhone's iOS, and even the camera app is also very similar to the iOS app, but otherwise the interface is more or less the same. There are a lot of built-in apps and there are other features that you'll find on most Oppo phones. Now if you see the app loading speed, it's not bad, though the phone comes with 4 or 3 GB of RAM and the chipset is not really powerful. It feels definitely faster than the Oppo A3s, but we are yet to test it fully with a lot more of apps. But for now, the app loading is quite fast. The app switching is also not slow either, though there is a slight animation to the apps. It's still pretty smooth. As for the cameras, the front sensor on the phone is same. It's 8 megapixel, and you'll see it doesn't really do a good job when it comes to capturing proper dynamic range. All of this left side of the photo is overly brightened. So let's switch on the HDR mode. The phone comes with HDR mode on the front camera, which may come handy while taking shots in tricky lighting situations. So it does improve. You'll see the details are still not amazing. Here's another shot I took indoors, and you'll see it softens the face. And the details are also average, they're nothing amazing. As for the rear camera sensor, the autofocus is not as fast as what we saw on the Realme 1. It's doing its part in good light, but in tricky lighting situations we have seen that it's not very good. It's slower than what we used to see on the Realme 1, which feels like a deal breaker. As for the photos, in good light, the camera captures adequate details, but I feel the colors are slightly more over processed and there's noise even in these conditions when there's enough light for the camera to take good photos. Dual cameras don't mean better photography. Even in the portrait mode, you'll see autofocus is not accurate most of the times, and you'll need to struggle with keeping the object in the foreground clear and sharp. This happens in low light as well. Most of our photos came out to be blurry with oversaturated colors and not so impressive details. So overall, the Realme 2 may be a successor to the Realme 1, but for now nothing looks like an upgrade on the phone. It may come with a notch display, but the resolution is downgraded, and it does have a fingerprint scanner as well now, which will of course make things better in the overall experience. But then again, there are other important things that Realme has downgraded on the phone, which will make it hard for the Realme 2 to survive the competition. The Zenfone Max Pro, the Honor 9N, and there are many other phones in this price bracket that are offering better chipset, better display, and in some cases better software as well. Stay tuned and watch out for a full review, and tell me in the comment section below if you want me to compare the Realme 2 with any other phone. Thank you for watching this video, and if you have liked this, hit the thumbs up button and share it with your friends. I'll see you in the next one.